Nakivale Refugee Settlement is a refugee camp in Uganda. It was established in 1958 and officially recognized in 1960, making it one of the oldest settlements in Africa. The settlement is a collaboration between the Ugandan government, the United Nations, and non-governmental organizations, and it is home to over 180,000 refugees from countries such as Burundi, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Rwanda, and Somalia. Rotary is active, alive and well in Nakivale. Here to discuss Rotary's work in Uganda and to provide more information about the Rotary Action Group on refugees, forced displacement, and migration are these panelists. Emanuela Musafiri, the founder and executive director of Tumani for Refugee Women, a nonprofit organization dedicated to empowering refugee women, children, and youth to become self-reliant. This organization is based in the Nakivale Refugee Settlement. We also have Julius Chiriwani, an entrepreneur and refugee advocate who founded the Best Future Center in 2016, also located in Nakivale, where he lived for over 12 years before resettling to the United States. And Kyle Hugan, who has been a member of the Rotary Club of Prior Lake, Minnesota since 2003. He has served several roles there in the club and beyond, including club president and District 5960 governor. Welcome to you all. So let's hear from each one of our panelists. Emanuela, why don't you begin and tell us about your organization?
Thank you very much. By name, I'm called Luanda Musafiri Emanuela. I'm the founder and executive director of Tumaini for Refugee Women. Tumaini means hope for refugee women. It's a refugee community-based organization that supports refugee women, children, and youth to achieve their full potential by encouraging them to enter in the job market, understanding the circumstances that they're facing, and also try to change their mindsets to also be self-reliant and resilient. We deal in so many activities whereby we provide for refugee women, children, and youth access to education. We also do skilling, which is in livelihood activities for women. We also do child protection, where we do awarenesses in the community to protect children. We also do gender-based violence prevention and response for women and young girls who are faced with gender-based violence. And as well as we are all much focused in building the capacity of refugees who want to be in businesses and also who want to know computer literacy and so on. So basically, that's what Tumaini stand for, and we aim to change the lives of refugees who are living in, specifically in Nakivale and other places, to thrive and achieve their potentials.
Very nice. Thank you for sharing that. And now let's hear from Julius about his organization and his work.
Julius, if you could start your video, that'll let me spotlight you.
And I believe Julius wants us to begin with his video.
Hey everyone, my name is Julius Chirumani. I'm the founder, and currently I'm advocating for the refugees living in Nakivale. Yes, I lived in Nakivale for 12 years. Now I'm living in Minnesota. Yeah. My life in Nakivale, I was able to start or to found Best Future, which has the vision of building a literate and self-sustaining refugee community by giving access to education to young children below the age of 12, and also entrepreneurship and vocational skills to the adults. This center has helped so many people, and we're able to even get the Rotary International Global Grants last year with the support of Kyle, whereby we installed more than 30,000 liter tank at BFC, and this is giving access to clean water to more than 5,000 refugees. We also did a lot of research into entrepreneurship area, whereby we are now helping more than 13 ECD centers on how to generate income generating activities on how to, generate income to support their centers and keep supporting keep supporting the parents and kids in Nakivale to have their kids in school. Yes, I think that's what I can say in brief.
And Julius, I believe you provided us a YouTube clip that we'll play to give us an idea of your work in Nakivale. If Amy, if you would cue that up, please.
I didn't hear that, sorry.
I don't believe we have any sound, Amy.
You get two new emails, one from a business that looks legit and one.
Okay, you got it. 1 sec. This will just take a minute. We gotta get through this ad for a second. You
Okay.
gotta love YouTube. So give me 1 minute and we'll restart this.
All right, thank you.
If you want to go to the next speaker and I'll cue this up and we'll play it right after.
That's perfect. Thank you, Amy. All right, Kyle. So I have a question for you. How do you get from district governor in Minnesota to be connected with a refugee camp in Uganda?
I'll give you the short version of that. One of my friends here in this Rotary district worked for an organization called Alight, which used to be called American Refugee Committee. It's one of the largest refugee relief agencies in the upper Midwest. And through her travels back and forth to Nakivale, because Alight is very involved there, she came up with the idea of starting a Rotaract club in Nakivale. And funny part was, when she had the idea, she was actually a member of my club, and I was our, I think, district governor-elect. Due to her work schedule, she moved to a different club and took the idea forward there. So I was, after I got over being irritated at her a little bit, because, you know, it would have been great to have that feather in the cap for our club. She worked with people in Nakivale, Julius and Emanuela as part of them, to form the Rotaract Club of Nakivale Refugee Settlement, which was the first Rotaract club in a refugee settlement in the world. And through hearing about that from her, and just hearing all the great things they were doing, and as it started to get a little bit of publicity throughout the Rotary world, I kind of said, okay, I need to go there. So I went with Angela, that's her name, and a couple other people to Nakivale to visit in 2019 to see the Rotaract Club in action and to meet some of the people involved and to see where we could potentially do some projects on the ground. So didn't know that I would come back with great friends and Emanuela and Julius and others that I consider part of my extended family at this point.
Fantastic. And for those non-Rotarians on the call here, would you explain what a Rotaract Club is?
Sure. Yeah. Sorry about that. I wasn't.
Right.
As I said it, I went, I'm not sure how many people actually know what that means. So Rotary is obviously more geared towards people in the I would call it the stable life stage. And Rotaract is a way to get younger people involved. Typically, Rotaract clubs are between 18 and 30 years old. There's a couple different types of them, either a community-based club or a school-based club, say at a university, where they could create a Rotaract club there. But it's kind of a in a sense, a scaled back way of getting more people involved in the Rotary family without the financial commitments or overall, I'll use the term attendance commitments that most Rotary clubs have traditionally had.
Okay, very good, very good. And also to clarify, Emanuela and Julius, I'm not certain that any of us, or very few of us, have ever been inside a refugee camp or a refugee settlement. Would you describe what Nakivale is like for 180,000 people. What is that refugee settlement like?
Well, if I'm to say on that, because I'm currently in Nakivale Refugee Settlement now, and the Nakivale Refugee Settlement is a really big refugee camp that has more than thousands of people, and we are still actually for now receiving more refugees from Congo, DRC, and they are coming very many. A day we can receive maybe 50 bus coming with a full of families. So we may find that the camp is so much full of people, and mostly in cases places are now becoming so congested because people are very many coming in, and I may say few are going out to get resettled, and that is quite the challenge that are inside. But Nakivale is really huge, and it contains over 7 to 8 nationality, because we have Congolese, Burundian, Ethiopians, Rwandese, Somalis. There are very many tribes that live together, and that's because of the different culture differences that all of the people live together. So you may find here and there challenges, but yeah, that's all about Nakivale and how it is.
Julius, do you have anything to add from, I know you're not there any longer, but you lived there for 12 years.
Yes, thanks so much. I also appreciate what Emanuela has just said. On my side, I will say Nakivale is a place with full potential. You find people from different nationalities, and but those people come together. You know, these are the people that they've left their homes, coming to a new place where they got nothing and start building everything from the scratch. This is a place where you find people having hope. It's a place that you can meet with someone smiling, despite the fact that what he went through in the past. This is a place where people come together as a team and build hope, rebuild hope for themselves. Um, I think this place is a place that need to be heard. That's why I really appreciate Kyle, because what refugees need, they all need, they have a lot of potential, but it's not easy for them to be heard maybe from outside. No one knows about them until that's one champion who can get out and say, hey, these people have great ideas. These are the refugees, but still they are trying to create solutions for their problems. So it's a great place to be. It's a beautiful place to be. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
And Kyle, as someone from the outside, how would you describe Nakivale?
It's funny. I've been there twice, in June of 2019, and then actually was there a year ago right now. And I purposely, when I went back last year, I guess I didn't purposely do it. I think I accidentally didn't look back at anything I had written either on Facebook or in my own notes um, from 2019. And what I realized though later on was I described it the exact same way. It's at the same time, it's the most magical and worst place on earth.
Mm.
As Julia said, here are these people that have made the ultimate decision um, to leave their homes and leave their lives behind because the other option was essentially potentially be killed. And so to have people give up everything to go to a place that, as governments give land and space to refugee camps, they're certainly not giving the most fertile or best land in the country. It's fairly barren, and because a lot of the support services are either done by the United Nations or by NGOs, there's not an overwhelming amount of resources available. So very low on resources, very low on money, and people, as Julia said, trying to rebuild their lives in a place where I don't think they want to be for a long time for a number of reasons, because they either want to be home or have a new home. They don't want Nakivale to be home. So that's where it's partly the worst place in the world, but then to see the spirit of people and the working together, as Emanuela and Julius both said, the working together, the trying to make something of themselves, the trying to start businesses and provide for their families and try to realize any potential that they can in a place that isn't going to foster that potential in a good way. That's where the magic of it comes in. And certainly people like Julius and Emanuela and others that I've met there who have given their time and energy and very little money to create organizations that are helping helping so many people in the settlement is just, it's fantastic and it's heartening, and that's where it's equal points magical and awful.
I believe the latest figures show that if someone who is forcibly displaced goes to a refugee camp, they are normally there for an average of 23 years. So although Julius relocated to the US after 12 years, he cut the average in half. So it's so good and so heartening to hear that there are people there trying to make it, as Julius says, a place of hope. And as Emanuela is showing, a place of caring and nurturing. For a view of this, Amy, let's play the video. Are we ready now?
We should be ready now. So let's pull this up. Hear the sound?
Yes.
Maisha yangu ya Kongo nilikimbia insecurity. Mauaji iko sana mjeto ya Kongo na njo nilikimbia. Nina kwa mulimaji, junjo kazi inaniweka, njo maana najitoa kile kulima mara 4 kusemene moja. Jina langu Jili, niko mulimaji, ninaishi mkambi ya Nakivale. Mie ninafurahia watoto yangu kusoma. Juu mie kwanza saksi mzazi wao hakuna nilipataka, sikuwa na ile bahati ya kusoma. Inanifanya nifurahie BFC juu inanisaidia kuwajibisha watoto. Antuka depuis banaanza soma nishona mabadiliko mbatoto yangu.
Base Future Center, first of all, has a vision of building a literate and self-sustaining refugee community by giving access to education. We give access to education to young children below the age of 12 in order to combat illiteracy within our community and build a strong community of great leaders.
Coming together is the beginning, keeping together is the progress, working together is the success. We learn for the better future.
In 2016, we did assessment within Kashojwabi community, and we discovered that there was no school within that community. All the children to access education, they were going to the farthest school, and this could cause many accidents to young children below the age of 12. And it was risking the parent not to send their children to school. And also, lack of school within Kashojwabi community was the risk for us to have a literate community, since parents could not allow their children to walk to farthest schools. We introduced this idea to the community, and the parents were super happy about it, and they joined us. We laid bricks together and started the construction of 3 classrooms, and that's where we started from. In our entrepreneurship, we train youth on how to start their own businesses. We also work together to co-create sustainable solutions to the different problems that we have within our community.
Niliposikia masomo ya entrepreneuria naanza hapa kwa Best Future, nilikuwa nikaanza kusoma ili nipate ujuzi wa kufuga manyama. Nilipoanza hii ufugo nilianza na nguruwe 2, na nashukuru Mungu kwa sababu nilianza na nguruwe 2, lakini kwa sasa nishakuwa na nguruwe 15. Na katika ile nguruwe 15 kuna nyingine ilizala, kwa sasa iko na vitoto 8. Hii business imebadilisha maisha yangu kwa sababu nikiuzisha nguruwe naona inaniongezea pesa kibinafsi, hata na kwa familia yangu ambayo tunaishi pamoja hapa.
Within our tailoring program, we train every 3 months 30 people. And so far we've been able to train more than 260 people on this skill. Currently, more men are interested in this skill. And of course, they are doing well.
Maana kuangaika hakuna hata kazi mwanda kwamba nilikuwa nayo, ni ya kuangaika tu. Lakini siku moja nilijisukuma kukia soma English. Sikumaliza siku za mingi, teacher akapropose kama kunaweza kuwa benye wanapenda kutire, na wazani nilikuwa kwa kwanza kulist. Na kwa leo kabisa Mungu anasaidia ndeza pata 10,000 shele wa 15,000 na maisha yanaendelea. Mwaka mmoja ya mbele ya hapa na kwa gisi niko leo, maisha iko afadhali. Hiyo mwaka iliisha, nilihangaika sana ya zaidi ya sana, lakini kwa leo afadhali kabisa. Mungu abariki. Nikikia na nguo kama niko na modeli yenyewe inanisumbua, mitrese iko tayari kunisaidia, na wakati ndapatia mwenye ile nguo yake atajisikia bien kabisa na atanipatia ile pesa yangu yenyewe tulisikilizana.
Kuwa mama mkimbizi mwinchi ya watu na una bwana, kulea watoto mwenyewe ni vigumu sana sana zaidi ya sana. Lakini sasa kukuwa na ujuzi ya kushona wala ya kujua kazi ya mikono, unakuwa na msaada kidogo kwa wale watoto, teze wasaidia kwa mafuta wala kwingine kitu, na unakutana maisha. Lakini afadhali kufundisha benzetu wa mama wakimbizi kushona, mimi najisikiaka mzuri sana. Juu haiko wa mama tu ndio mimi nawafundishaka, mimi nafundishaka na bababa na badada. Best Future Center inabadilisha maisha wakimbizi sana sana. Inabadilisha kupitia hii kazi ya mikono zaidi.
Rotary has been a great partner to BFC for long, and together we've implemented so many projects, impactful projects. And currently we have received a Rotary Global Grant, which is going to improve the quality of education. We've been able to construct 12 latrines, which is a response to the needs that we've been having. Children are able to have access to clean water, which was not there before. Teachers are now having enough teaching materials required by Ministry of Education and Sport. We thank you so much, Rotary family, for the support and your continuous involvement into supporting different projects that empower or that improve lives of refugees within Nakivale Refugee Settlement, Uganda.
Julius, that was wonderful. Very.
Hey, Arthur Worthington Schmidt. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Call me AI.
Second.
Great.
I guess you two went a little further. Anyway, Julius, very inspiring. Congratulations on your success. What motivated you to start the Best Future Center?
I'm sorry, I was joining on my phone, but now on my PC, I won't be able to put my camera on though. What motivated me to start Best Future? I will start by my role model. My grandfather used to help people. May his soul rest in peace. He's called Barafuma. When I was very young, I used to see him supporting, helping people. Every end of the month, children could come home to receive sweets, biscuits. I was asking him, what are you doing? Why are you doing all this? Do you have all the money in the world? He could tell me, I don't have a lot, but the little that I have, I feel I need to share. He could solve the problems around my community. I could just look at him and say, wow, I want to be like you when I grow up. When I came to Uganda in the refugee settlement, I had that spirit. I had it in me, and it was stronger than me. Seeing around me people struggling, suffering. I went to a professional teachers college. When I came back in Nakivale, I said, I was like, what can I use my skill for? That's when I went in the community in Kashojwa B, because I'm very passionate about education. And I was saying, how can I use my education to support the community around me? That's when I went and we did assessment with the team. And of course, we found that in one of the community called Kashoshabi, that community didn't have any school. And all the schools were, this nearby school, they were charging a lot. You could find that people, those children that have nothing, they couldn't go to school. And I said, I work with the team and say, what can we do? Is this the real answer to this problem? We called the community for a meeting, and we said, we introduced this idea, and all the community were like, yes, let's do that. We stood together with the community, we lay bricks together with the community, and that's how we start the construction of the first 3 classrooms. I think that was stronger than me. Helping people, supporting people was ever stronger than me. I felt like I could use what I have, like my knowledge, to support Nakivale. And that's what I did. And I'm happy I didn't do everything myself. I did everything. First of all, I did it with the community. And secondly, I could never do anything without Rotary. Rotary supported a lot. We were only able to build 3 classrooms, but now BFC has 10 classrooms. Imagine where did we get all that support from? From Rotary. Yeah.
That is amazing. I'm sure your grandfather is smiling right now on the other side of heaven. Emanuela, can you share the inspiration behind founding Tumaini for refugee women and how it's evolved since its inception in 2018?
Yeah, thank you very much. Tumaini, I founded it in 2018, but I came to Uganda in 2015. I was just 12 years old when I came to Uganda, and I was so young to think that I can start an organization, because my whole aim was to go to school and, continue as other children. But unfortunately, because of the situation that I was in, me and my family, we had shifted from Congo to Nakivale. And that was in 2015. So living in Nakivale first in those very days was very difficult for me, because my family could not have that much money to send me back to school. And I could see, of course, some other young girls were going to school, and many of them were not accessing education, that led them to have early pregnancies, early marriages, and also sexual exploitation and abuse. So within the period of time, I started socializing with some friends of mine who are young girls, like talking and understanding what could be the challenge. And the challenge that I actually found was the lack of education amongst these women, and also lack of opportunity, work opportunity. So I started crafting and designing a shop, whereby I was supported with my mom, that gave me some materials that we used to make with my friends, just around making crafts and trying to sell to different organizations that were surrounding us and making a living. So it started building an entrepreneurial kind of spirit in me, finding like, okay, I can do some businesses, and I maybe help these women to find money they can buy their own things that they want as women. So it gives me an idea. And as I keep on growing into that business of craft and design, I continued to empower more women. So we became 15 women that were all supportive together, empowering other women to do different crafts. And I came up with the idea to make a Tumaini for refugee women, which I called the Hope for Refugee Women. But so when we started the initiative, we could call upon women going to different places and, doing the work, teaching women how to do different work, and they can earn a living in. And with time, Tumaini grew, and it has actually, we first had our contract with the International Rescue Committee, whereby we enrolled in getting to teach women mental health psychosocial support to women who face problems in their communities. We started also doing advocating for women rights, and also doing gender-based violence prevention and response. Again, we also ended up partnering with the UN Women under a coalition for action. We also, we started growing, and the organization actually grows. Even per now, we are partnering with a big organization called Care International in Uganda, and the World Child Holland. So we have been through that, through the work that I was doing, because before we were actually doing crafting, but we specialized in other more contents with time since 2018 to now. And the great achievement is that we have managed to help thousands of women and to start their own businesses, because we could teach them financial literacy and computer literacy and so on. So basically, that's what helped made me to start, because of the life that I had as a woman and as a young girl who wanted to go to school, and I didn't really have that capacity. I wanted also to see fellow women having hope that they can do something on themselves. They can have hope for themselves, because many women could tell me, I don't have a hope for the future. Maybe what should I do? Maybe what should I do? So I thought better to give them a hope, because my the experience that I had in my country, when I left my country of origin, I came with my mom and daddy, got kidnapped, and there are so many trauma that I carried, and I didn't want also other women to carry that trauma in them. So that's why I started the organization.
That is incredibly inspiring. Congratulations for your success, and we thank you so much for your efforts here. Kyle, why don't you fill us in on how Rotary grants have been helping in the settlement and with organizations such as these?
Sure, and I need to step back for a second and just it's so cool to be able to go to Nakivale multiple times and interact with people. I mean, I see Julius now a few times since he's been here in Minnesota, but Julius is a few years older than Emanuela, so he was already more of a, I'm going to say, adult when I met him in 2019. And I've told him, Emanuela, this too, but watching from when I met her in 2019 as a very soft-spoken, maybe 19-year-old young lady, to what she's built, and last year as she took us around and showed us what they're doing, just even seeing her growth as a person over those 4 years was absolutely phenomenally inspiring. And again, in an area that it's hard for everybody, it's certainly much harder to be a young woman there too. And just Julius, and I know you don't mind me saying this, but as good as you've done, I'm really proud of her. So what have we done there? Our club, and it hasn't just been me. After the first time that I went to Nakivale, a couple other of our members got intrigued about what was going on there as well. Really, one of the biggest reasons is because Julius would tag me and posts on Facebook about what was going on at Best Future School. And a couple of our other members visited Nakivale at different times as well, which was great, because then it just wasn't me, but it was we have multiple champions, and we have now coordinated 2 global grants in Nakivale Refugee Settlement. Again, for those that aren't Rotarians here, the Rotary Foundation allows us to do grants with Rotary Foundation funds if we put in some funds as well. It's a great way to leverage the impact of one of the best charitable foundations in the United States to really make a big impact. But we came at it with a big group of needs that we wanted to solve based on some needs assessments that Julius helped us conduct in and around Best Future School, and ended up splitting the grants into 2 just because it was going to be a very complicated grant to do one of them, and we could kind of do it in stages. The first one, which was about improving education and sanitation in Nakivale, was a grant that was nearly $40,000, and it provided 12 new latrines at Best Future School, which were sorely needed. The older latrines versus the new latrines, which were just being finished when I was there last June, night and day difference. And not only did it provide those latrines, but 8 hand washing stations along with a rain collection system to be utilized for the hand washing. and a number of educational materials, 10 laptop computers, some desks and tables for both teachers and students, and a significant number of educational materials. Again, trying to make the environment for kids better for them to learn, both safe places to go to the bathroom so they can continue to go to school, as well as more educational opportunities so they can learn more and better from that standpoint as well. And along with the hand washing stations and the education that comes with that, to teach the importance of hygiene and just building good habits there. The second grant, which kind of piggybacked on top of it, was a project that was slightly over $80,000. So all told, it was about $120,000 between the two of them. That extended a water line to Best Future School from the main water system in the camp. And it also is in the process of installing an ultrafiltration system at the school. So not only will they have water, they'll have clean water. And the other part is constructing a 100,000 cubic liter water tank in the Rubando neighborhood in Nakivale. Essentially, there are three neighborhoods in Nakivale: Base Camp, Juru, and now Rubando, which Rubando is where a lot of the new refugees are being settled, and very limited in terms of resources there. So installing this water tank there so that there can be more water on just there. So those are the two global grants. And the other thing I think we've done that I'm pretty proud of is along with the Nakivale Rotary Club, one of their members came up, and he is a former Rotary Peace Fellow, but he came up with the idea to have a soccer tournament to promote positive peace in Nakivale. Obviously, as Emanuela said, there's 7-8 different nationalities that predominantly make up Nakivale, and in some of those countries, people from those countries, how can we bring them together to promote positive peace? Not just the absence of war and violence, but the creation of a fair systems that create a fair and just society. And so promoting that concept of positive peace and using the international language of sport, bringing together refugees from many nationalities to compete in this tournament. And it's a kids tournament, young teenagers that are competing, and now from afar, our club has helped raise the funds for that tournament each year. It's pretty cool. So every year, the final match is played on World Refugee Day, which is Thursday, June 20th. And after the first year, when Rotary International President Jennifer Jones took a trip to Nakivale over Labor Day weekend, they did a replay of a game. So there's a YouTube video out there that shows Jennifer cheering on in the replay of the soccer tournament. But it's just a great opportunity to bring the community together. For the final match last year, gosh, I bet there were 3,000, 4,000 people there attending it. Just a great experience to be a part of. Julius and Emanuela can attest that I was just basically walking around floating with a big smile on my face, because it was one of the coolest sporting events I've ever been at. And so those are a couple of the biggest projects that we've been pretty proud of here in our club.
That's amazing. That's amazing. One great thing about Rotary is that you can live locally and act globally. Each of the individual Rotary clubs can foster projects across the world without having to go through this huge bureaucratic process of asking permission to do that. So whether you're a local Rotary club or a district, you can have an impact in a place like, this particular refugee settlement. So it's good to hear about what's going on there. We do have some questions. The first is, can we purchase items from the Best Future Center tailoring program? Julius, is there a way to do that?
Yes, you can do that.
Do you have a website or commerce site you might share in the chat?
No, we don't have it. We don't have a website yet, but we are working on building it.
Okay, if you'll share that, then we will disseminate it to our attendees and try to drum up some business.
All right, thank you so much.
Okay, and Elaine says that Emanuela and Julius need to work on their books.
Wow.
So keeping notes about your journeys so you can begin thinking about writing your story.
Thank you.
And if you have questions, again, please post those in the chat. We have a few more minutes to visit with these folks. Julius, do you have any
And
specific?
Delton, I want to jump in real quick
yeah,
on
go ahead,
on the purchasing things, because I know for a fact that some of the people that Emanuela works with, they make different things too, and they're available for purchase. I know this because I may have bought my daughter a couple things last year when I was there. Emanuela, can they purchase anything from your organization
Yes,
as well?
yes, the women that we train actually makes a craft. These are decorations for the home decoration. They are African good decoration. We also make bitenge as also the ones that we saw from Julius. We make designs of different African shirts, and we also make bags in cultural materials. So there are very many, and I think also Kyle has bought and saw some. So if in case anyone wants to buy, we're very available, and we can share pictures of everything that we make. Thank you.
And Kyle's put in the chat his email address where we can contact him regarding purchasing items from Emanuela's organization and her affiliates. We have a question for you, Emanuela. What are your future plans and aspirations for Tumani, for refugee women, and how do you envision further moving your mission forward?
Thank you very much. My future plans for Tumaini is actually to extend the organization in different camps, because for now we are still working in Nakivale, which, as Kyle said, we have Rubondo as subzone base camp and Juru, and we operate in the both settlements, but we wanted also to expand our programs in different camps because Uganda has a lot of camps, and we would like also other women to benefit from the services which we are giving. And also expand the collaboration that we are having with different partners, different people who want to support, and making sure that what I want to see is a life of a woman change, and she has a hope for the future. She's self-reliant and resilient and have her human rights respected and protected. So if I get that, I will be very good.
Self-reliant and independent. That's great. So, Emmanuel, here's another question. From your perspective, what could women in the US and the UK be doing to empower refugee women, both settlements and in our own country?
Yes. First of all, I believe that a woman is a really big agent of change, especially in her community and also in her family. Empowering a woman is synonymous as empowering a whole family. How I'm saying so, we've been having so many women that we've empowered, but the change that I'm seeing from this woman, I'm not seeing that change only on her, but I also see this change through all her family, the children she's bearing, and all the community. So what maybe women can do for refugee women here or maybe their country is continuously empowering them and supporting them. We understand that women face a lot of barriers, especially in here in Nakivale. They face a lot of barrier discrimination. Some of them don't go to school because their parents tell them to sit at home and do work. But if women can support these women to, thrive, to achieve their full potential, because one potential of a woman can really mean a lot to a family, help maybe the children and also the community in large. And as well as maybe in their community, what they can do is bringing these women together and try to empower them issues, because I know when a woman stands and advocates for rights and it's just amazing. So I believe like a woman can really make a change, and that's why I'm standing here. Thank you.
Wonderful. And I want to mention Julius has also added his email address in the chat, so we can email him about purchasing some of their items. I want to remind everyone that on Friday, we'll be producing a resource list for all of our attendees. It will have several links and pieces of information that will be helpful as you want to get involved with empowering refugees, and we will include these email addresses on that list. So Julius, let me ask you, what is it like to balance your work in Nakivale while now living in the United States?
Yes, thank you for the question. What makes the balance, first of all, is a team. Before leaving Nakivale, I made sure that I had a strong team that would stand even in my absence. Now we have a strong team that's managing the center. It doesn't need me to be there all the time. Every week we have a meeting, a coordination meeting, just try to update each other and make plans for the future. And that's how we do it.
Very good, very good. We have another suggestion in the chat to think about a Christmas or holiday catalog with your items for sale. That's perfect time to be selling, and I believe June is not too early to be thinking about the holidays. So Elaine, thank you for that. That is wonderful. That is wonderful. So please post your questions. We have a few more moments. Let's just talk about the future. Kyle, what's next?
It's a really good question. I think about that a lot, and what's next for us, at least from our Rotary Club standpoint, is twofold. Number one, to finish up the 2 grants that we're working on. The first one is pretty well done. It just needs the final report, and we're working on some details with the host club there. And the second grant is just finishing up, and hopefully it'll be done in the next month or two. After that, honestly, the biggest thing that I'd like to do is, and I hate to say it this way, but I've done a lot of thinking about, the fact that there's 120 million refugees around the world, and I probably can't help all of them, nor can I stop the need or the causes that come with refugees. But I can do whatever I can, and my biggest thing to focus on here into this summer and after that is getting Emanuela and her family, and then I mentioned their friend and mine, videographer Cedric, who put that video together. Emanuela and her family, Cedric and his family, get them to the United States. And now with the welcome.us program being able to not just sponsor whomever is the person, but you can kind of choose to be who it is. I'd like to find ways that we can do that, so that Emanuela and Cedric, and Julius's family, who is still there. I see Remat's on the call now too, so they can start having the systems to help them fulfill their potential.
And Kyle, for those of us who are not aware, would you please share the specifics or just the basics of the welcome.us program?
I will try as best I can. I'm not an expert on this part of things, but I'm working on it. So as part of over the last few years, the Welcome Corps was established to essentially re-envision the way refugees are welcomed into the United States, where it has been very case manager centric, and instead of doing that, doing community sponsor groups. And so as that started, welcome.us is kind of the brand name, and there are a number of different organizations that are helping implement that. But it's essentially any of us can start a community sponsorship group and choose to help sponsor a refugee family that's coming. It's obviously a quicker process if you choose from, here are the people that have already been approved. If we want to pick someone specific like Emanuela and her family, or Cedric and his family, a couple more steps. But really it comes down to helping provide some short-term funding, but also it's the concept of, we all have a guy for this and that and the other thing. You know, where I know if somebody asks me, hey, or if I need my air conditioner replaced, well, I got a guy that can do that, or you know, a tax guy, or whatever it is like that. People that are new to the community don't often have those resources, nor if they're coming from another part of the world, especially to a place like Minnesota. And I know because I talked to Julius. Thankfully, we didn't have much snow this winter, but it was damn cold for Julius. And to have people there that can help support them, and not just having a case manager that's working on 100 cases or whatever it is, but giving that more relational support and encouragement, and helping people become more a part of their communities that they're going to be living in now. So I think that's an overview as best I can without stumbling over details.
I believe there's a brief documentary about a specific welcome.us story called One Good Reason. We will post that link on the resource list. It's probably 15 minutes or so, and I believe it'll kind of bring to life what you've just depicted for us. I appreciate that. So a couple of things here. One question: how can you help local Rotary clubs to offer bazaars where crafts can be sold from around the world? Emanuela, Julius, how can you help us with that? We can start with Uganda.
I didn't get the question very well, sorry.
How can you help local Rotary clubs to offer bazaars where crafts can be sold around the world?
Like in my opinion, because of what we actually do, like making the craft, maybe by making more products and sending it to the different Rotary clubs that I want to sell, because we have more women that you know, they manufacture these products, and there are very many, and they like markets, and basically that keeps on giving these women hard time to make, because they don't have anywhere to sell them. But if there is any pathway where they can sell, and I'm sure that we can deliver as much as craft that it needed.
Okay. Julius?
On our side, I think it's good to work with a close Rotary club. Like now we have Mbarara, a Rotary club. So the idea is to make the items and then send them to Rotary Club of Mbarara. Then Rotary Club of Mbarara can help ship the product to the buyers.
Very good. Very good. One more question. How do you see the impact of these projects and initiatives in the long term, well-being and empowerment of the refugees in Nakivale Refugee Settlement? And are there any plans for future projects to continue supporting their needs? I'll leave that with all three of you.
I'll start that. Any Rotary Foundation grant has to have a sustainability component to it. So that's we've worked very hard to make sure that that things will be sustainable, and that the water will keep producing for different students at the school, things like that. There is a little bit extra level of complexity, because here we worked with Julius for 3 years to put these projects together, and then Julius is able to resettle to the United States, and he's not there anymore. And so it really comes from the relationship building that we did with Julius, so then he understands the importance then of making sure he has a succession plan, and he and I have talked long about that, so that when Julius leaves, it just doesn't mean that Best Future School goes away. And that's where he talked about having his team on the ground that's still running Best Future School. And the other long-term part of things is we did a pilot program, and it was a gardening program in Nakivale as well, and Julius helped out a little bit on that, along with some of his team members. and it didn't go as well as it could have. And I think partly because, and sorry, Julius and Emanuela, for saying it this way, but you know, the refugees don't want to be lifetime residents in Nakivale. They either want to be able to go home, which isn't likely, or they want to be resettled somewhere where they can really put down roots. And what we kind of talked about in our club as we did that pilot project was that because they don't see themselves as being residents there, it's difficult to put down those roots, both figuratively or, because this was a gardening project, quite literally, because planting something means this is where I live now. And so there are some complexities, but I think we can work through that, especially with making sure there are other Rotary clubs in the area. Julius mentioned the Emberara Club. There are a couple clubs in Kampala, which is about 5.5, 6 hours away, that have supported these projects as well. Having good partners there that we can ensure that the projects keep going, even if somebody like Julius has the good fortune to be resettled.
Julius, future plans for your organization?
First of all, being in the US, I find it as an opportunity to be the voice to the voiceless. It's not like because I'm in the US, I have to forget where I'm coming from. I keep reminding myself that I'm in the US to raise awareness for the refugee. So my plan for the future is to make sure that so many people know about refugees, what they face, what they are able to do, and what they need to reach that. So far, I've been speaking to different Rotary clubs, including Prayer Lake. Thank you, Kyle, for inviting me. I want to make sure that I'm the voice and I'm able to get funds to support refugees. With Best Future, currently, I appreciate the team and whatever they are doing, because they keep pushing. Even if I'm not there, they keep sustaining the partnerships and the community is still benefiting. On the other hand, I would support the idea that we had with Kyle before, to have a community or like a coordination, on all the work that Rotary is doing, is to have a team. Like we can have a board in Nakivale with different people that will be coordinating all the funds that are sent by the Rotary in Nakivale. I think that would be better, and also it will help. Let me say, when you live like you are resettled, the board has to allocate or has to put another person. Someone that is trusted. I think that's it.
Okay.
As Best Future, I'm saying, like, since we have it now in Base Camp or in Nakivale, I want to see another Best Future in Chaka, in another refugee camp. I want to see as many refugees getting access to education. And I wouldn't fail to mention, I've come to learn that entrepreneurship is the best tool to use to build a sustainable community. My dream is one day at least to have a microfinance in Nakivale that could be helping the entrepreneurs. Of course, we train the entrepreneurs, but you don't have funds to give to them. Training them on entrepreneurship, they have concrete business ideas, they have great plans, but since they don't have startup capital, it's quite hard. But if we have or if Rotary can be able to implement and put like a microfinance in Nakivale for the entrepreneurs, like you train people, then at the end of the day, they are able to get seeds funding to start their business. I think that would be the great thing to help.
Very good. And Emanuela, we'll end this session with you. What are your future plans and what do you need in order to achieve them?
My future plans actually was because me and my family were in the process of getting resettled to the United States, as Kyle has said, and he wants to help my family and I. And my future plan is, if I go abroad, and because that was one of my best and amazing things that I wanted when I came to Uganda. But if I reach to the United States, even when I'm still around, my future plan still is to grow the organization, grow it to another level, as I mentioned earlier, seeing Tumaini in different camps. That will be actually one of the best things, and I can do that by empowering my team, because I don't work alone. I have a really big team of 30 volunteers, and together with my team, we can actually push the organization to reach to its success. My personal future plan is to go back to school and continue with my learnings and my studies, and help Tumaini as more with the new knowledge that I may gain. So that's basically what I have in mind.
Very good. I want to thank you all, Julius, Emmanuel, and Kyle. That was truly inspiring. We're behind you and your work. And that's it for today. On Wednesday, you will hear from the founders of 241 Cosmetics, Fevin and Helena Johannes. Plus, we will welcome a panel of practitioners who will enlighten us about the refugee workforce. Again, summit videos will be uploaded this evening. Please share boldjourneys.live with your network. And with that, we look forward to tomorrow. Enjoy your day.